So you've managed to find us and wondering what we're all about. Well, this is the Waffle Hour on Waffle Wednesdays with me, Bernard and John. We're best mates for about 20 years and we waffle on about all kinds of subjects. Sheep, gin, New Year's resolutions and everything in between. So make sure you come along every Wednesday morning, 7:02 a.m. We'll help you get through your hump day. That's probably not a great place to start the podcast. So welcome back to the John Bernard Waffle Hour on Waffle Wednesdays. J-Dog, what is the crack?
Good. All set for Christmas.
Oh, it's a bit early. Although this will be the 1st of December.
Starting earlier every year. Yeah.
It is, of course.
What's the toy show? That's it, what's the toy show's on?
I think everybody got a little bit excited about the toy show. Like, toy show this year seemed to be like the start of Christmas. Everybody put the tree up and everything.
Seems to be that's the new 8th of December is the... was it the 8th of December when you put the tree up? Yeah.
No, that's 7th. When you go shopping.
Okay, when do you put your Christmas tree? 7th?
I would have said the 1st, no?
No, something like the 7th of December is when you actually put up your tree.
Oh, I didn't know there was a date like that.
Yeah.
I know the 8th was when you went shopping.
Culchi, was it Culchi?
Culchi's Day Out, is it?
Culchi Day Out. But I think the toy show is the new kind of
marker for it.
It's the new marker for Christmas. Like we put up our Christmas tree.
I suppose we should have tested to make sure we were recording, but I think we are.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
But
otherwise, we'll come back next week.
What did we do last week? Oh yeah, dads.
Our
good.
Dad taught us.
Yeah.
It was a really enjoyable chat. Actually.
Yeah, good feedback on that. Nice few listens. The listens are coming up.
Yeah, I got a few comments. Which is good. Always good to hear back from people when they're listening. It's always good to hear when people listen, isn't it? Like
don't forget to follow us on Instagram. The JB Waffle Hour podcast.
Instagram is where it all happens because we're putting up questions on Instagram of like what you want to hear.
Yeah, I was doing it on my own Instagram because hopefully to try and but we got some followers off that. So
yeah, good.
Hopefully that will grow.
Use our current resources.
Yeah, if you go to the Instagram, the link is in the bio there for contacting us with the email address. But it is the jbwafflehour@gmail.com. But you can also submit off that an anonymous. You know when you fill in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I put that on that link tree as well. So that's in that as well. If anybody wants to do that, just in case you don't want to put your name to anything. Nobody's done it yet though, but we'll see. So yeah, good crack last week. We have a special guest next week. We won't say who it is though.
No, we leave that. But let's say a special guest, and then we'll just let people kind of go wonder for the week.
Yeah. Leave it hanging.
Super excited.
So there'll be 3 of us next week. So we'll see how that goes. It's the first time we're going to do it. So we're going to do it like remotely. We're going to do it via Zoom.
Then if it works out, we'll have more people on.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of a trial run. So if you hear just us two talking next week, it means it didn't work out very well. Or we didn't do it. Or
you like cursing going, why isn't it working?
This is unedited, so of course.
I'll be like, just ring them, put them on loudspeaker.
Have we cursed in the podcast yet? I don't think we have. Have we? Have we?
Yeah. Why is that going to be bad for ratings?
No, because it's not like explicit content or anything.
Okay, good.
You
don't have to go into a different bracket of Spotify, like if you have.
Yeah, you'll have to pick the thing like explicit content, like and
Okay.
So.
Okay,
you'll have to do. But it's not like an OnlyFans kind of thing. You'll be okay.
Only Grands.
Only what?
What? I've been looking at Only Grands. Is there an OnlyFans?
Yeah, what's
Only for grannies?
Only Grands.
I'm looking at the wrong one all the time.
Okay. We should just continue on. Oh yeah, here we are. We're back. We just took a little bit of a snapshot of a break there just to make sure we're actually recording our voice.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, we don't want to be going for like 20 minutes and realising we didn't record.
Yeah, that is one of the main aspects of podcasting.
Yeah, so we are episode 5, special guest in episode 6. So we'll see how that goes next week. So this week we're going to talk about Trim again.
Yeah, the town of Trim.
So we kind of talked about the Matchbox car park and the cars in episode 1.
Yeah, go give feedback on that.
Yeah, and if you haven't listened to that episode, don't come in on episode 5. You don't want to be one of those people that come in halfway through.
No.
You just go back and listen to them.
We're almost semi-pro at the moment, so listen back on our embarrassing selves on episode 1.
Yeah, we've upgraded our mics and how we do it as well a little bit.
Yes.
But a few people wanted to talk, like obviously because we're from around Trim, don't want to say we're specifically from Trim, but around Trim, that people that listened to this, the first one was obviously a lot of people we knew from Trim, and people found it nice, especially the ones that aren't in Ireland.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the most messages that I got saying it was good to listen to was people that were in Australia or America or Canada. They're picking a good memory because they're gone like 10 years almost.
Yeah, they would be.
13, some.
never came back.
Never came back.
Yeah,
But good for them.
Yeah, well, that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
Set of life. We go with the big hitter first. So we have a list on the whiteboard to
We have a list in
go through.
So obviously, like I went to the vocational school, the tech.
The tech, yeah.
Where you went?
I went to the tech as well.
You went to the tech, so obviously Doyle's would have been a huge.
Actually, do you know what people find funny when I tell them about the tech?
What?
You had to cross the road in like the middle of school. It's like, yeah. And like we used to be standing there with our bag, and there would be a car in New Haggard,
Yeah.
and we'd be like, "Oh, we'll have to wait. We can't cross the road yet."
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, we're late class. There's loads of traffic.
And you know what was weird as well? We couldn't go through the front door. We could only go in the
That
back
was
door.
very odd.
And you used to get in trouble for going in the front door.
But the front door was probably the safest one to come out because it's right across from the other one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I never understood that. But
Just authority.
Like I heard recently as well, and maybe it's not just this year, but maybe the last few years, that there's like a waiting list in the blind community. Like it's, when I left primary school, it was just kind of a given. You went to Trim. It's just whether you went to the Brothers or Tech. Like nobody went to Longwood or Atboy, not from Forest Mill anyway. And now like there's a waiting list.
Yeah.
So you have to apply.
Yeah, there's. I hear that in the grapevine now. Yeah, because like I've heard horror stories. Like there's not enough places in the school. I think there was 200 places in the school and 400 applied. So you're talking about even there was one occasion. I think someone said that they had twin boys and one twin got
Exactly,
in,
I heard
and the
that.
other twin didn't. It's insane.
That's mad, isn't it?
But that wasn't in our time.
No, there was 2 classes in my first year class, 20 in each. And of course, I was playing the one with nobody from Borsman. But from the class I was in, like,
Lucky those people.
yeah, I don't really know why that happened that way.
Maybe everybody requested it.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's not even a school now. Not even sure what to do there.
See, there's some nice stuff out there, like benches or something like that.
Yeah, so there seems to be putting a door in what was the science room, and the woodwork room at the front is now 3 rooms.
Must be some kind of government kind of facility of some sort, like adult learning or something.
Yeah,
like
they
that.
got rid of the prefabs as well. They were dirt anyway.
They were, yeah.
The amount of times I like hit my hand off because it was the bumpy stuff on the wall. Scrape my
Scuffing
knuckles.
ourselves. Yeah,
Oh,
your
yeah.
knuckles, back of the knuckles.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And jumping over the wall, getting the tennis ball. That
Into
dog,
the
that bonbon dog, he bit my leg.
Did he bite
He
you?
bit me on the ankle.
Oh, it was just a
I
room.
had to go get tetanus in the bum.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I was getting back over the wall, and like the way he used to run up the garden, and like he got grabbing me left leg and trying to fucking get me off.
Yeah.
And,
That was insane having that garden right beside the school.
Yeah,
I think
funny,
they clean
isn't
it up or put something there.
Yeah.
And then put it, like if you think back, like a rough garden full of rubbish right beside a school playground, and never mind being dangerous, you had the ball that you played with had a chance of going in there.
Yeah.
So never mind all the rubbish and probably needles that were in there and all the crap and the bits of metal. They put a vicious dog in there just to spice it up.
Well, do you know the other side when they used to like sell flowers in that house? There's now 2 houses in the garden, and sister actually lives in the White House. But my dad was working with the crowd that done the groundwork there, and he said the amount of tennis balls he found when he was digging up that garden. That was
We
mad.
searched around there a good few times. Remember, there was always like a gap in between where you knew they were closed or they weren't around. So you just
Yeah,
hopped in.
so you used to be able to get. So what was the Irish room, the Scattles room?
Yeah.
There's like a gap in the hedge opposite that. You used to be able to get out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bonbon, like the bonbon.
Yeah.
For years, that's where everybody got their Christmas presents when you couldn't
Yeah.
go anywhere.
Yeah, I remember
That's
back
probably
in
too
the day
far
they
back.
had the
Because
food really good price.
you were asking the question, how far are we going to go back?
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know.
I think our generation.
Yeah,
that'd
not
be good enough. Like you could go all the way back.
Like as you said, when the black and tans came to
Black
trim,
tans and
that's probably too far back.
them lads and
You wanna
all
keep
those-
it light.
The trim being burned down and stuff like that. I'd say that'd be a whole different scenario or a different.
That's
So I think our generation,
the
like,
historic.
the listeners and stuff like that, they might remember. Oh, I remember that time. I
That's
forgot
the
about
bonbon.
that.
Yeah, the bonbon.
So the bonbon was good because
Christmas
they had
presents.
the toys at the very back and
Yeah, they had like a payment club, I think,
payment club.
before you could buy online and before you went to Dublin or whatever, like
And
before
then
the
the
big shops
magazines.
came.
You can go and get magazines. You used to get like dinosaur magazines. Like, remember they used to bring out these magazines where like your first copy was like £2,
Oh
and
yeah.
you got like a dinosaur kit.
Oh yeah, and then the recommended retail price was like 20
Yeah.
quid or something.
Then the next one you go buy was 25 or something like that. Yeah, just for one little piece. You know, like
They hooked you in.
Yeah.
Can't remember the last time. I remember I went through a phase of buying the Auto Trader.
yeah.
I used to go in and buy the Auto Trader. But like I was only like 14 or 15.
You just
No
had
idea
interest
why I
in
was
cars.
buying. Yeah.
You know?
And I used to go to the middle of the auto trader, which was like the old crap cars. I'd be looking, oh, that's only €1,000.
Dreamy,
Could I get
dreamy.
that? Yeah. And Dials was next. I think Dials,
Dials.
when you ask people about things that they miss maybe, or shops that have closed, I think Dials is the top of everybody's list.
Dials is definitely well mixed. It was a great
Now, I've
shop.
no idea when it opened, but it was there from the time I was small, going in with the few pound, the 5p box, the 10p box, and the 100 penny sweets.
100 penny sweets.
100 penny sweets. And until it closed, I think, when we were in secondary school, didn't it? Because remember when I was in 5th or leaving cert, and there was like little feckers that was in first year.
It closed once the vocational school closed.
Yeah.
That was it. That was
Once
the
we
death
moved
of
up.
it.
And even though we were in community school, we still walked up that way and then went up to the convent. We always walked up that way anyway. But I think it's just a change in times in the small shop. You know where the crisps used to be in the box behind, and people were robbing them and all, and
Yeah,
became hassle.
it was the school was the trouble. I remember she used to stand there when we went in, and but myself and yourself and a few of the younger that generation from the boardman side probably had a lot more respect for it because we went in there on the way home nearly every day from mass or anything like that. But then the guys from like Rattleline and all them lads that wouldn't be around. They wouldn't be over that side of the town going in, fleecing the place at lunchtime.
Yeah, it's like the brothers were never let out for lunch time, and we were the tech.
Yeah.
And I think they were released. They were like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then just went mad. And like when they started only letting a few in at a time, you're not wasting your lunchtime queuing to go into the shop.
No.
Start going other places. But
do you remember back in the day as well? It's going back further. Do you remember when Mickey Timpins used to stand outside it all the time? Remember Mickey Timpins?
Yeah, I remember Mickey Timpins.
Yeah, people don't remember him alright. I don't even know if he's still alive, is he?
Do you want to make like the joke? He's probably Mickey Tanner now or something, no? Because he's older.
Mickey, I think there was. I think he was still around when the euro changed. So I think we made a joke back when
Mickey
the euro
10 cents.
changed. He was like Mickey 12 and a half pence because it was the difference price or something like that. I remember we made a joke. But if anybody knows where Mickey 10 pence is at the minute, let me know.
I think Jonah Manx is still alive.
I think only one of them is.
Oh, really?
Well, hopefully they're both alive, and I do apologise if they are. But I think they're both alive. But yeah.
Because it's funny because when you were 15, they seemed old, but now
They're
obviously
really old.
we're 20 years older. So I wonder what age they were when they had that shop. I assume they still live there in the house.
I think one of them has passed away, unfortunately.
Oh.
They have turned it into a house.
I could never tell them apart. So I was like, Mum used to say, "Oh, which one was in there? The tall one."
One was the tall, skinny one.
One was the short one.
Did they have relations in town? Like, did we know any of their kids or grandchildren or anything like that? No.
I
They
don't-
seem
I-
to not have anybody around.
No, I don't think they were married. Were they? I don't know.
Just two sisters, were they?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think their dad opened that shop. I think because you know that book that came out, Trim's Times Past or whatever, that red book.
Yeah.
I think I read it in there now. It's the dad that opened it.
So were they married?
I don't think so. I think the two of them lived there.
Loved the shop.
Yeah, I think so.
They're
And you used to
probably
get
back up in
like a meter, the licorice whips, the meter long ones.
I just remember getting 100 penny sweets. Whenever you got a pound in your hand, you were
Yeah,
like,
you want 100 penny
I'm
sweets.
going to Doyle's and getting 100 penny
Did
sweets.
you ever get the ice cream when they used to cut the block and put the wafers on it?
No, I never did that in Doyle's. I always got sweets and apple
I got
drops.
that. Oh, apple drops.
Remember they used to go
Yeah, the
and
quarters.
bare hands. She'd count out the apple drops into the quarters.
Do you remember the dolly beads getting banned in the tech?
I remember now. Yeah, you used to flick them with your teeth.
Yeah,
That's
and
hilarious.
they got banned.
I never did that, unfortunately. I think I probably did it once.
And there was
then got banned.
there was a phase as well where lads used to get the sandpaper from Woodrock and come run up behind you and like sand your cheek.
Yeah, never done to me.
Dickheads.
Yeah.
And what was the other thing? Oh, when it was the old 50p piece and playing the knuckles on the Woodrock table. Ever do that?
No, never did that. You guys did weird stuff.
Oh, you used to put your hand down on the Woodrock table,
Yeah.
your knuckles down, and another lad would get a 50p piece and just like shoot it into your hand.
No, never did.
No. Oh, okay.
We did the knife thing, with the palm hand on a thing. And
Oh, like the Russian mobsters in the movies.
we did that a lot.
You've just gone up a level there.
Yeah. It's probably we were a year older, you see. So
Alright.
we were a year older.
Staying on that area of the town, the corner shop course with the rolls.
Yes.
I remember
They had the most-
JK, like he'd get one in the morning and 3 bites is gone. And then suddenly he's seen with another one. You're thinking, is that the same roll? He's like, no, I went back up and got another one. I was like,
Oh man,
that man put away 2 breakfast rolls in the morning before he got to school.
I know. But they were they used they cooked fresh eggs. That was the best thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it was in the tin foil, fresh bread,
That they were nice breakfast
sausages,
rolls.
rashers, pudding.
But as you said about Dials and the Bonbon, I don't know whether they just went because nobody took them over as those shops, same as the corner shop.
Mm.
But the school must have been a big go on them, like,
Well, you can pretty
when
much
the
tell
tech
that.
went.
Like, sure, do you remember?
Because although the tech was small, there was still 5 years, probably 40 to 50 in each year. Like, that's what, 250 people knocking around during the day,
Yeah.
buying sweets and all
once
that.
the schools moved, that was it. Their time was numbered. Like they shut down like within a year or two after that.
Because what went in, remember Curves? Curves went into the Bonbon.
Curves, yes.
Yeah, that was that, I don't know, weightlifting, resistance,
Yeah.
power circuit for ladies. And now the equestrian centre is in there now.
Do you remember what was beside the corner shop before
Before Apache.
before those apartments were built?
Oh, the apartments, yeah, the house with the bench
Yeah,
at the front,
and-
the house up in the hill.
Do you remember before the benches? Didn't he have a petrol station there or something?
Oh, you're going back before me now. I remember
Yeah,
Smith's.
Smith's on the left.
Yeah, where Corcoran's carryout is now.
Mm.
That was even there when I started driving, because David Mooney used to work in there, I think.
Yeah.
And I remember in the Renault 19, it would not be an episode if I didn't mention the Renault
No,
19.
you can't. Always.
And I remember going to Smith's to get the petrol.
Do you remember? Because I was driving a motorbike at the time. But do you remember Smith's had this collection loyalty club thing?
Oh, yeah.
ESO points.
Yeah.
I remember things you can get. Like I remember I collected all the ESO points and I got this like toy truck.
Oh, I got said binoculars.
It
Still
was
have them.
Nobody does them anymore. They're amazing. Like literally collect up points and you get something for free.
Yeah. I think I got that before I started driving, because the petrol station in Avon at Beachmount used to be ESO. And Dad used to go there on the Friday. He used to give me the tokens. And I collected enough up to get those binoculars, and I still have them. Still a good set of binoculars.
Yeah, that was a great setup now. Because his shop was bog standard now, but you used to go in and get the petrol, and then you get ESO points, and then you collect them up. And it made me go there more often because I was collecting those points.
A few people actually messaged in about Dials, Tully, and Burkey.
God, I haven't heard from them.
Yeah. And Tully was on about the No Name Disco.
Yeah.
That's probably further up. That's like 2000.
Yeah, I never went to a no-name disco.
I was in the No Name Club, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Apparently, like, we were conned into being told that it was going to look good on like college applications, but then you realise you don't apply to college, you just get on the points.
Yeah.
They lied to us. But that was good crack. That was in the Welly, which was like the old Welly before Zango's.
Yeah.
And you had the dance floor, and you had all the booths around the side. So like during like Sunday, you used to have your lunch in there, and then it became the disco.
I remember
the discotheque.
Yeah, because I remember we used to go to auctions. Did you ever go to the auctions there?
No.
Like it was kind of like a garage sale where people gave a load of old crap in their garage.
Oh,
I remember bought an Atari for like £5. Still have it too.
Never
And a
watched
load
that.
of games. That was like years ago now. You're talking 1990s.
Yeah, well, Wellington Court Hotel. The entrance was the same as the Zangos, and you used to go in, and the pane used to be on the right.
That's true.
And then the cloakroom, and then you used to go in, and the DJ box was like a tiny little hole in the wall over the corner.
Yeah, I don't remember that now.
Oh, well, the only time I was never at like the boot.
Yeah.
But
Boot,
nightclub,
the
yeah.
boot.
I was only in it for the No Name Disco.
Mm.
And like the Wellington Court at the time, even the restaurant, it was like that typical old, dark, wooden tables and chairs and all that. But it's been upgraded nicely now, of course, to Castle Arch.
Yeah, no, they did that now.
The swimming pool.
This swimming pool.
That's where we learned to swim, Johnny.
That's where
Remember
we
that?
learned to not how to swim.
We done alright.
Oh, we swam
We
with the
went.
paddles.
Yeah, we went for like. Did we go for like 3 8-week courses?
Yeah. Like we did.
That's quite a while.
We didn't do too bad. Because I remember going under the water and everything, so I suppose it was successful.
I would have been 21. You're obviously 22 then, were you?
Yeah.
No, 23.
Well, I'm what, 37 now? What did you?
You 25.
Yes, over than 20.
So, because I think, did you ask me did I want to do it?
No, it would have been you, I'd say. I think it was something that we just discussed in the car park one night.
Oh, and we said
And
we
couldn't
got
swim. We said,
because
let's do it.
I think there were 3 of us the first night, and then someone left or something, and then it was just us 2.
I think it was John Keller.
Was he in there?
I think he was trying to learn to swim too with us.
I know he's good at everything. He would have known how to swim by then.
Nicky? No, it wasn't Nicky.
I think it was just a random person, wasn't that? And then remember the next
From
day we
I
went
think he was
in.
from the car park though, because he was in that
Oh,
gang.
was it?
Like remember something like that.
Yeah, but it was the 2 of us for a good while.
Yeah.
and
We
being
did
taught.
well out of it. Like definitely, like I had a fear of water, fear of swimming.
Yeah.
And that was my barrier I needed to get across. It wasn't like I just never learned to swim. I had a fear.
Yeah. Well, I remember in primary school that they went swimming, but I remember going to play football instead. Now, I don't know whether it was an option and you took it, or whether I just didn't want to learn how to swim. But I don't know. The water isn't a big thing with me. I'm happy now after doing that. You've no real fear of the water. Well, as in swimming pools and stuff. I wouldn't be going like mad doing lengths or anything like that. I wouldn't be able to do that.
I still have a bit of. I can swim now.
Yeah.
I need to keep on going to like get to something. But I can't tread water yet.
Oh, well, that's what the life jacket's for.
Even though if you're not wearing a life jacket.
Oh.
Or if you're in the swimming pool.
Well, one of the biggest things for me is when I went with Ian Gunn and Sludge to the lake.
Yes.
And obviously I was only in the boat because I can't swim. And I thought, I'm here all day. I said, feck it, put on the life jacket. And one of like, not the scariest things, but maybe the most apprehensive things was putting your life in the jacket. Because you're thinking, what if I don't float?
Yeah.
And of course then I got stuck a little bit away from the boat. And I wasn't a great swimmer, obviously. But because the jacket was so big, I couldn't like do the whole swimming thing. And Sludge had to come out and save me.
Savior.
Yeah, thanks, Sludge.
See, I had the problem with life jackets because I was so skinny. So no life jacket. So whenever I fell in, I just slid out.
I just went out of the life jacket.
My arm went up and it just slid. But
that's not what you want in a life jacket.
Stuff though. I went jet skiing and stuff like that back in the day with Sludge and all that gang. But I wore a life jacket. But I didn't know, like, cause once I didn't fall in, I went jet skiing, I went boating, I went banana boating and all that kind of stuff. But life jacket saved me a few times. Thank God. But that's it. I couldn't swim.
Yeah, it's a funny old thing that I suppose it's much easier when you're a kid to learn how to swim. So
it is. Yeah. So the swimming pool, but like, remember it was just because it was. Remember it was empty then for a couple of years.
Yeah, I can't remember what was. They're going to build a new swimming pool, and was there a leak from Kavanagh's petrol station into the ground or something?
Yeah,
and had to wait for that to all go out, and they done like soil samples and all that. And then they end up building the new swimming pool up in the Garfield. Because where Aura's entrance is now, that used to be the entrance to the GA pitch.
Yeah.
The GA pitch with the old one with the wall around it. And so where the Astro is in Aura now, down in that corner, that's where the change rooms used to be for the Garfield. And then Aura is running that now for the county council. So then Aldi came. Wouldn't be like the Germans to take over places. No. And that I don't think Aldi wasn't there when, remember all the floods came? That was like 2008 or 9. I remember going to Blanche and like I couldn't get out to Dublin Road. Then I went out to Summerhill, couldn't get out to Summerhill Road. Then headed for Maynooth, couldn't get through Maynooth. And I ended up going like into Dublin in order to go for Blanche.
There was a couple of bad floods because I remember one when I was really young, like you're talking 5 or 6, and the floods were all, where Ukrainians live and all them.
Oh yeah, up
they
there.
They were
yeah.
all up to the windows almost.
Oh,
that was a really bad flood. And like anybody who was on the left hand side, they all basically that road was gone.
Like that when that river burst its bank, sure. But I remember that one. I think that was around 2008. But that bridge at Aldi, I heard a story when that bridge was being built. I don't know if it's true. It's like most stories in this podcast. That the reason it took so long is because they had their levels wrong. So as they were building the bridge out from, say, Aldi's side and Crinian's side, they realised like a quarter of the way out that the bridge wasn't going to match up. So they had to like deassemble it, reassess the levels, and then start building it again. I don't know how true that is or not.
I don't know. Never heard of it, but I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah, and although the Pitch and Puck Club is up there behind Aldi, that used to be around the castle.
It was literally around the castle. My mother used to tell me.
Someone told me there was like a little stone wall that went down that path where the guard station is along there. But I don't remember that little wall. I vaguely remember the Pitch and Puck course. Like, what a way to use one of your like national monuments, a Pitch and Puck course. Because I don't know if it went around the castle or was it in the castle.
It was around the castle because the mother used to go to it as well, and she said she used to just sit around the castle, climb up the top and everything. It was literally just a ruin back then.
Yeah, that's mad.
You could climb up it and everything.
Do you remember watching any of the scenes from Braveheart?
Yes.
So that came out in 95, but they were recording in 94. So that scene, when they have the big log and they're trying to break down the door.
Yeah.
I was on the bridge watching some of that. Yeah, that particular scene.
There were
Yeah.
a few trim people that was in that scene, like doing the pushing and
Yeah,
running
the
around.
extras and things like that, yeah. Because there are photos of McCormick's along, I don't know, obviously it's been a long time since I was in McCormick's, but in the main corridor there used to be pictures of it there.
My uncle
That's
was
such
in
a
that.
massive, imagine that happening now, I think it would be an even bigger thing. Because even though it was happening,
It's
from
such-
what I recall now, I was only 9, that it was just kind of happening.
Yeah,
It
but social
wasn't-
media, like nobody knew
Yeah,
unless
that's
you
true,
literally
yeah.
got into your car to drive in and physically look at something. You never knew. Right now
Well,
you
that's
can go on
true.
Twitter.
'Cause
And
I remember
hashtag it.
driving, well, I wasn't driving, but being brought in, and we went, a movie being filmed, and you were able to park on the ring road, walk down to the bridge, and look across, and there it is.
Mm.
Because when Matt Damon's movie there, was that last year in Bective,
Mm.
they closed off the whole road, security and everything. You couldn't
Yeah.
get down near it, I don't think.
Yeah, and that's because of social media now.
Yeah, bigger crowds and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
and
I think
people-
that movie's out now. Is
Yeah,
it? I can't remember what it's called.
I can't either. But fun fact there, my uncle was in Braveheart.
Oh, yeah?
With the beard. You know Johnny Murray?
Yeah.
Some people might know Johnny Murray is my uncle. Was my uncle. And basically there was auditions in Trim. You could go in and appear for auditions. You just pull up to the tent and
Do you look like you're Scottish or whatever?
yeah, so basically, my uncle walked in. He had a really long beard down to his belly. And they said, "Oh, we'll take it. Perfect, grand. You don't need to even put makeup on you."
Oh, nice.
And then he was in a few scenes, and then he said that he played bagpipes. And they said, "Perfect, we'll put you in a scene with bagpipes." So if you look back in Braveheart, remember the funeral of the father?
At the start, yeah.
And there's 3 bagpipes at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
The middle one is the uncle.
So obviously that was filmed in Ireland as well.
That was filmed in Kerr.
Oh.
Yeah, because the uncle used to go up to Kerr. He was in it a good bit now. He kept on getting requested to go up to be in the Kerr or be somewhere.
Yeah.
Because he was always in the background because of his beard.
Because a good bit of it was filmed in Ireland, wasn't it?
Yeah, a load of it actually.
I don't know how accurate it is though.
But yeah, keep an eye out for him in the next scene. You'll see even his beard.
Yeah.
Like it's a very good silhouette of him. Very interesting.
Oh, must look at lesser because I do enjoy Braveheart.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I enjoy it because it's good or because Trim Castle's in it, and you're like, oh, that's Trim Castle. I remember the scene.
What funny is, I got the uncle to get me Mel Gibson's autograph.
Oh yeah.
And Mel basically gave the uncle, my uncle gave him a piece of note paper and said, "Hi John, thanks for best wishes, Mel." Right?
Yeah.
So the uncle gave it to me and I went, "Oh, brilliant, brilliant." And so I had it on the kitchen table, eating dinner, looking at it, and
Yeah.
it got a bit of dirt in it. You know what I did? I washed it. Scrubbed it. I think I was only at 7 at the time.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think you were young enough to
No, I was
put the
too young
paper
to.
in.
I was thinking I was doing a great job. Maybe I was 11. But
Well, it wasn't. It
scrubbed
was,
it.
it was
and the uncle went
94.
Mental. 94, 95. So 94.
Yeah, because it came
so I
out.
would've been 10.
It came.
10.
It came out in '95.
Yeah. So I went 10 years over age, got dirty, because I think I had like tomato ketchup on it or something. So I started wiping out. So, and then I was like, crap, I'm smudging off the pencil, what am I going to do? And the uncle went mental. I think he just ended up having to retrace it.
Oh, and did you keep it?
I think it's somewhere in the
Ah,
photo
okay.
album somewhere.
Like everything else. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Fatal Deviation was the other not so famous movie
Yeah.
filmed in Trim.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was there any other movies filmed in Trim? No.
The Quiet Man.
The Quiet Man wasn't filmed in
Yeah,
Trim.
there's a scene quite.
Oh, feck off. Because that's Mam's Cross and Mayo.
Yeah, there was one scene, and then there's another one, an army movie with not John Wayne. There's an army movie.
That filmed in Trim.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to Google it.
Okay, well,
Um,
don't put it too close to the headphones because
but,
we don't want any crackling.
It's called it's like an old vintage movie. It's filmed as if the Americans are invading or fighting Germans or something like that. Old movie filmed. Hang on a second, I'm googling here.
You gotta love Google.
Filmed in
Randomly Googling things.
Trim County, Meath. We're gonna have to edit this part out.
Sure, it's called Waffle for a reason.
There's no reception.
Yeah.
But basically, something men.
We'll
Jimmy's
have
old men.
the full information next week.
Yes, once I find out.
But Fatal Deviation was, I would say from watching both Braveheart and Fatal Deviation, that Fatal Deviation had probably a smaller budget.
Much smaller. Much smaller.
That's the kind of way of saying that.
But must say, because my uncle was a Braveheart, he got into Fatal Deviation as well. So, and then the father was in it.
The whole movie is on YouTube. If you
Yes,
want to
look
check
out.
it.
Very good. And now I must say, I'm in
Question for
defense
Alexis
of this
Goods.
movie. we all laughed at him, didn't we?
Yeah, but in fairness, it got him to where he wants to
We
be.
got him to work.
I'm pretty sure he's like a stunt double in LA, like.
And he's one of Van Dahle's best mates now. Like, he had the last laugh, you know, and fair play to him. And he's the epiphany of, if you put your mind down to it and you never give up.
Yeah, bit of hustle.
Yeah.
You know,
Because we all did kind of go, what's he going to do? You know, why is he sitting donut bars?
But I think it has like a big cult following as well.
It does, yeah. I remember it was on that TV show, television. Repubblica Telly was on that for a while.
Yeah. That was mad, like. But yeah, no, fair play to him. And the bit in Kylie's, I like Kylie's mural on the side.
Yeah,
I know it's there a while now, but
yeah,
it's really good. I think Trim could do a few more of them.
murals.
Yeah, I know they tried to do one up. Is it Jonathan Swift and where you used to check in for the old
still
mart?
there, yeah. It's just
And then down opposite Aldi, I think they've done something there as well, did they?
yeah, it's just not looked after. That's all.
Yeah,
It was really good intentions, but looking after it, they're not the May West.
Yeah, but that's in Spicer's yard.
Yeah.
Wonder what it is. There seems to be a lot of work there in the last while.
There's the planning permission stuff on the wall. I didn't read it yet, but I'll have a read of it.
Apartments or something.
Yeah.
I wonder they probably can't change the front though.
No,
That building's old enough to be.
That's older than that was burned down a number of times.
I remember going in there and getting like French fancies.
Yeah.
Spicers and the old ladies in there with their aprons.
We didn't go in there much now. We always got the delivery in the Spicer's van every morning.
Oh.
With the van driving around.
Well, I used to have a bit of trouble with the OLSs and R's.
As in you had a lisp, did you?
Not really. I think it was more an accent kind of thing rather than a lisp.
What do you call it?
Sammy the Snake slithered down the sidewalk. He was a good friend of mine for a while. So that used to be in St. Joseph's. Do you know the first bit of St. Joseph's? That's closest as the car park. Used to go in there. Used to get a half day on a Friday, and then afterwards we used to go into Spicer's and have a French fancy and a cup of tea. Yeah. But that's closed a long time now. It's amazing that such a building that's like prime location, big size of building that has a massive yard out the back. That nothing has been done with it. A little bit was done a couple of years ago. I was wondering, they like put that white stuff on the windows and stuff. I thought, oh, something's happening. But definitely something's happening now.
I think there was something wrong with the building. It was like
was it? The whole back of it's gone. It's only the front of it now that's left. That's between. What's it between? Is it the Nuke and Pat Burns? No. What's
no, the flower shop. No, Pat Burns. Yeah.
Is it Pat Burns? So basically, Pat Burns and the Nuke is holding up that wall. I'd say because I had a little look in from behind because I peered in through the gate of the yard and like it's all gone. The back of it's mad, yeah. But even Spices and Avon. When that closed, that building at the bridge is still there. I think, is there like the Mead Marching Band or something is there?
The Silver Navan Band.
Is in half of it. But I don't know if that was Spicer's or whether that was just a bit beside it.
But
and
yeah,
like,
all the flower silos are all still there.
Yeah, it's mad just the way things are
maybe
just left there. Because, I don't know, it's not costing someone money. It
could be maybe a lease or something, that the lease has to run out or something, or contract.
And Holland's on the corner opposite Spicer's. You remember that? The drapery shop? It's where the credit union is now.
I remember there was a drapery shop, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Holland's, like the sold all, because I remember big rolls down the back, the sold all material and like all things for making like, I don't know, cushions and household things.
I remember something like that. Yeah, I remember some kind of drapery shop. I can't remember it being called Holland's, but yeah, I do remember the mother going in.
Yeah, I picture like a blue with like gold writing in Holland's, or maybe red writing.
No, can't remember things right.
And Trim Hardware was a cinema.
Back in the day.
Before
our time.
That's gone back
but
a little bit.
Still see it.
Just in case anybody ever wondered, because when you look at it, it looks like a cinema.
Yeah.
The only reason I know it's a cinema, I suppose, is because that's where Mum and Dad went.
I am curious if there's anything, like if Murphy's kept anything cinema, if you go up to the loft, there's like projector rooms.
But did like that become Trim Hardware, and then did Pierce work there and take it over, or did Pierce started as Trim Hardware? I don't know. Because did they have
we'll
like
never know.
Well, I suppose we could ask them.
True.
Didn't they have like a birthday last year, like 40 years in the business or something? Or was it the year before? So they're there a long time.
Chicken or egg kind of argument.
which came first? Yeah. Did Pierce work there?
Or the Hardware?
Yeah, Pierce or the Hardware. Yeah. And further down Market Street, you had what Tully wanted to say it as well. Was about the pastry kitchen and salad bowl.
Oh,
And
because
when she said that, I just thinking, how mad was it that two very similar services was right beside each other?
I always thought like they were owned by the same person, right?
I think when you went down the back, they were connected.
Mm.
I don't know whether that's true or not.
We never really went into much of them now.
I did in started doing a deal. Was it no the salad bowl started? Because I think the salad bowl was more a walk-in place, where the pastry kitchen was more like a coffee shop.
Yeah, cafe kind of.
I vaguely remember that. But there used to, I was only in it maybe in second year because they done like a student kind of deal thing on the rolls. So I was briefly in there a few times getting rolls in second year, alright, but that's about it. And I was going to say Rachel's Calf, but it's not called Rachel's Calf now. What's it called?
Moles. Montos now.
Montos, oh yeah. And they're opening, when are they going to open that burger bar? They
Dunno.
put that
I've
sign
seen
up teasing me about a year ago.
Yeah.
And I've been walking by looking in, waiting for this place to
Yeah,
open.
he keeps, I don't know whether he's putting it off because they did start a big run on it because he bought a load of stuff off me for it
Alright.
a couple of months back, and I think great, it's going to open soon. They ended up not.
Well,
opening.
this took over the place in Flower Hill.
Yeah, the
Oh,
Italian shop.
yeah.
So maybe that take a good chunk of his finance.
Yeah, maybe then they
Maybe
delayed
start-
opening it.
Yeah.
Because I always thought the Abbey was a fine place for a restaurant. Maybe not so good for a bar. But it had its day when it was the Abbey, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that was happening.
Yeah, we did food.
Uh,
You did a great job.
I had my 21st in there.
Yeah, the mother was a chef in there.
It was, what was it called before?
Before the Abbey.
Phase? Was the Abbey Phase,
I
no?
thought it was always the Abbey in my time, I think.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like Granny worked there. But I don't know if the judge and jury was Phase or the Abbey was
And the
Phase.
judge and jury is always the judge. I
Oh,
believe.
that was always judge and jury.
I think so. That goes back a good while.
I was never the old judge.
The old
I
judge and
remember Joel done it up alright, but
Hmm.
I was never. I can't really remember the old
We
one.
were an old stand family back in the day. We were always in the
Old
old
stand.
stand.
The only time I was ever in the old stand was when Niall Flynn was barman there.
Yeah.
When we went in there.
Yeah.
But I remember going in McCormick's and you go in and, to the Castle Chippers and get like the beans and chips and then the pint of milk just to even it out.
Oh,
Like,
good God, yeah.
and because the McCormick's got done up as well in the time that we were going. It was a little bit different, wasn't it? I vaguely remember the old place. Remember when they had to put in a good smoking area.
You know, with McCormick's.
Yeah, and they changed up the back.
I don't
Didn't
remember much. I remember, yeah, before McCormick's was done up, the first time I was in McCormick's was the Debs.
they? Oh, Debs.
Everybody went to McCormick's. Great to have that tradition. It still goes on too, doesn't it?
Oh, meeting at McCormick's, is it?
I think so.
Getting the bus.
I think the tradition's still there. I remember seeing something happen. Obviously not last year, I think it was cancelled, but
Oh yeah.
great. It's good
COVID.
to see. Good to see that tradition go through on with McCormick's.
Yeah, Debs. Maybe we won't say too much about Debs.
Maybe
You're
there'll be
after
another
giving an idea for an episode.
Yeah.
Could we get an hour out of Debs?
Yeah, we might get a guest speaker on maybe to talk about it.
Oh.
Maybe DJ extraordinaire, maybe that was at the Debs, or maybe
Oh, well, I was going to say Nicky, because I think Nicky was like a 20 to.
yeah.
You see, Nicky had the great talent of looking good in photos.
Mm-hmm. Plus, he never ages.
No.
He would've been able to go every
Nicky
year.
is like Trim's version of Paul Rudd.
Yes.
You look at Paul Rudd now when he was in Friends and look at him now, and I think he's in his 50s now.
Yeah. I
And
think
he
it's
still
better
looks. Yeah. So, Nicky's probably going to like that. I hope Nicky listens, because he's after getting a great compliment there.
He did.
And if he doesn't, he
Hit
wants
me-
to.
hit me up, Nicky. Hit
He
me
wants to get his arse on it. We mentioned before about the Mashbox car park being stone, and the car park beside that, where the stockhouse is now, that used to be an orchard belonging to the convent
Mm.
that was recently for sale. I hope somebody bought that and is going to do something cool with it, because obviously you can't change the outside of it,
Where?
of the convent.
Oh yes.
Not the school
is it
now.
officially bought?
Yeah,
Yeah,
650,000
we
or
don't know.
something.
Yeah, great value.
Yeah. Oh, did somebody tell me who bought it? Or just that it was sold?
Did you see the licensing things like of what it has? Like, did you read the ad of the sale ad? You could turn like literally saying perfect for use as casino, as
Yeah.
B&B, as.
I
events
actually
nightclub.
thought that if you bought it, you could turn it into like a wedding venue and keep the church that's in it. Now, of course, the church has been de-churched. Is that a word? Decommissioned?
Unchurchified.
Unchurchified. So, but you still had like the church feel of it.
Mm.
So, because it's not a religious place anymore, you can do like your, where you don't have a priest, the humanist ceremony? Or is that the naked one?
Civil? No.
Civil
Well,
ceremony?
okay. There is still an MC Like, so civil ceremony, maybe.
Yeah, but it's the one without the priest and religion part of it.
Mm.
So they could still do it in that, and you could still have like a churchy feel,
Mm.
and then do up the rooms and the banquet place.
Upper Vegas style.
I showed Mam because that's where Mam went to school.
Oh, no way.
So I showed
She
Mam
has some stories.
the inside of it. That's where I was kind of just nosing, and she was like, she seen the tiles inside the doors, like, oh, I cleaned them.
No way.
There you go, getting in trouble. Some nun broke Mam's watch, hit it with a ruler,
Right.
given out to her, yeah. Her first Holy Communion watch. And Granny was, I feel she was 4 foot, but I think she's smaller in my head as memory than she actually was.
Right. As in 2 foot.
I don't think she was that small. I don't know whether she got shorter as she got older, but Mam said she went up and like gave out to the nun.
Good stuff.
Granny would have been feisty enough now.
Where is your mum from?
Longman Street.
Oh, so she's a trim person.
Yeah, number. Oh, crap.
My mother used to hang
9.
around with your mum.
I think so, yeah.
They went to school together in some way.
Yeah.
But my mother went to trim vocational school, so maybe it was all connected, was it?
Mam went to the tech as well, and Mam was. Did she say she done really well at cooking, and she was going to get a job as a chef, but then Grandad got sick, and she had to go home because Mam's the second eldest, so she had to go home and look after or help Granny look after Grandad.
Yeah.
I really should confirm these stories before I say
Yes.
them, because the same with the stories last week with Dad. That I wasn't 100% sure about.
My brother got on to me last week and said, "John, I'm going to have to fill you in on the full history of Dad because he got all the stories wrong."
Yeah,
But,
because obviously he's older, like, so
yeah,
he
he remembers
knows.
it. He would have asked a lot more questions than I did. But,
Was there anything he got drastically wrong?
no, nothing too bad.
At least you listened.
I think it was the story of how she travelled, how we went from Kerry to Meath. But
Oh.
we can't. It's
Yeah,
not getting
well,
that.
we're not really pitching the podcast as factually and historically correct.
Well, it was very, very similar,
Close.
close to it. It was just like the nooks and crannies, and I kind of went to him. Well, don't really want them kind of things mentioned.
No, so you kind of changed it for,
Gotta-
if it was going to be made into a movie, your version might be the
Yes,
one to take.
dramatization is the word. But yeah. So yeah, it'd be good to see that place now.
Yeah, so
done up.
someone said, well, it'd be great if the council had bought it and turned it into, because remember in the town hall there used to be like, was it like the history of Trim or a museum for Trim or whatever, and the town hall is now defunct as well.
Yeah, but,
Condemned, is it, because
the
the
town hall
roof?
has to be knocked down. I think. Yeah.
Well, Lord Dunsany owns it.
Does not.
That's what I was told. So the county council can't do anything with it because he owns it.
Since did he buy it, or the family's always had it?
I think the family always had it.
Isn't he the chap that's turning his whole land into a wild?
Yeah, I
Well,
don't know if that's the lad who actually owned it, or is he like the next in line, so he actually owns everything?
I think
Because is he
owns it.
like the little lord, or is there like an older lord? That's
I
like
think Which was his dad, but he's gone.
Well, he's gone, is he?
Yeah, so he's the main man now.
yeah, he's turning it back into like wildflowers and letting the wildlife go.
Yeah.
'Cause it's a massive place, I think.
Well, farm.
But yeah, I was told that they own the town hall, and that's what the trouble is. Because the front little bit, where is that coffee shop still there? Timeless Cafe.
Yeah, it used to be. I don't know if it's still in there. Though.
Because there was
Was it
something
tourist
about the
office,
front not being a part of it that was built on it. I don't know.
But that's all technically fresh because that was burned down in like 1920s. The whole
Town
town
hall
hall
was
was
what?
burned, so that's only built in the 1930s.
Oh,
It's not that old.
okay. Well, maybe once again, maybe those facts aren't right.
If anybody knows about them, they can message us in as well.
Yeah, because it's the structure isn't great in it. I don't think. I think that's why.
Maybe
Went to a nice few shows, and I remember they used to put on the shows.
young generation back in the day.
Yeah, and you used to have the little sweet shop inside the door.
Yep. My mother and father and sisters and all that were in young
I
generation.
can't remember
Probably
the
your
last
family
one that was at there.
Pirates of Penzance. Remember the plays that were in there?
Yeah, because I remember going to play at the Boarsmill had one on there, but they put it in the secondary school, girls' secondary school in the hall.
Mm.
But I think the library's been turned into something like the Solstice.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the library... Did anybody use the library anymore?
No.
I know obviously the one in Maynooth is used, but that's a university library. I don't think anybody really went.
But it's still going to be a library, isn't it?
Oh, no, I thought there were... Well, I suppose the Solstice. Where is the library part of the Solstice?
I'm sure you can see it through the windows.
Yeah, but is that just it? Is
I've never
it
been
for
in there.
show, like? Because the Solstice, I went to see David O'Doherty there. That's really nice. Like, it's would you say deep? Like they obviously dug it down because the tiered seats are quite a lot and the stages in front. From the outside, you wouldn't think that the tiered would be like so tiery. So I think they're digging down at the back of the library as well. But I don't know what they're doing with the place beside it because that's all covered up as well.
It's a tight area because obviously you have the church next to you.
Yeah, well, I think they're using the back entrance of that church as their building compound, like to get into the library.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're doing.
And then behind the library there's houses, and then to the right there's apartments, and there's no car park.
Yeah, well, I think that's why they took over the old church as well. Maybe that's what they're going to do.
Yeah,
I always thought that would be a nice restaurant as well because Tribe and the Leak, they converted the church. It's kind of cool.
Trim does need more.
That's where the nephew went to school. That's where the school was, the primary school first, and then I think there was a daycare centre there, and then they paint the front poles or barriers and the fence, and the county council like they paint them all colours because it was a crash, and the council made them paint them back black because they're like, oh no, you can't have coloured. What was that all about?
That's the way the politics is, isn't it?
Yeah, and what got me on to saying about the convent actually was that was the orchard, and then it got turned into a car park because they got rid of one of the houses. So where the Trim Castle is now, there used to be 3 houses there.
Yeah.
And they took down one. Now, I heard another story about that house. I don't know if anybody can remember, but they put the light, the town light or the street light right in front of your man's garage door.
Yes, and I have a photo of that.
Oh.
And
did you hear the same story, no? Of why they done that?
With lovers always, I think the story was so long that nobody knows which was first. Was the lamp there first, or was your man's garage door there first? And did he build the garage door in front of the light, or did they just install a light in front of your man's garage door?
Well, I heard another
You tell me.
Bullshit. So I heard that he was selling stuff out of the garage,
right?
And the council asked him like to cease and desist or whatever because he was trading. I don't know what he was selling.
Trading, like.
Yeah. So they put the lamp pole in front of the garage door to stop him.
I like that story. Let's go down.
I don't know. Maybe someone's listening and knows something else.
Yeah.
So it was the car park first, and then they made the road. And the reason to bring up the road is because it was named after Jimmy Finnegan. So Finnegan's Way was named after that guy. I don't know if you remember. I vaguely remember him. He was like an old guy.
I honestly don't.
I don't know whether he lived in a house, whether he was a homeless person. I have no idea. I assume he lived.
Pictures of him on the old Facebook group. But
yeah, he was shook now when I remember him, and he still lived another bit after that. Don't know what age he was. I remember he had glasses and like Doc Brown out of Back to the Future, that kind of wavy white hair, and I think he wore like one of those big long brown coats. Now I have no idea what the man done to get a road named after him. I think I'd like a road named after him.
I'd like a road named after me too.
I wonder what you'd have to do.
What do? You save a life, or probably just stroll the streets constantly and got to know everybody like that.
Well, I suppose he walked around the street a lot and was known in Trim as that. But there's been a lot of those kind of people.
Yeah. I think it was whoever drank the most in the pub and kind of whoever was out and about mostly or played music. That's how he got along in Trim, and that's how he became well loved. You're out in the pub a lot and you did music. Or
do you know when I never went to check to see where the Motor Factors was? Remember we were talking about that last week?
Ah, yes.
I never checked that.
I'll ask the father. See it tomorrow.
I don't remember what was there before those clothes shops. I think those clothes shops.
They were freshly built, like Pat Curtis.
What was there before
freshly
that?
Built them.
And you know, further down, that house went on fire, and it was never redone. So you know, like there's 2 with no roof.
The left hand side of the Haggard. Oh no, the cottages on the left.
Yeah. Like
after the pet shop.
I was out driving, and I remember that night, and it went on fire. Now I wasn't around to see it, but I do remember people telling me. But that must be 2004, I'd say.
That was.
And they've never put a roof on it. Nobody's bought it. Nobody's done anything.
Probably not worth it, sure. But yeah, I remember the fire trucks being around there. I didn't see it myself. I heard about it too. But yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. Do you remember the old heads? Before it was extended, I think it was like not as far back into the shop.
Yeah, it was basically where the shoes start. Yeah, that's extended back.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't remember it. I remember going into Ted's or getting the school shoes and stuff like that. Yeah, because we were a Ted Murtis family. I know people. You're either Peter Cannings or Ted Murtis. And we were
Burns is a bit fancy.
Pat Burns more of the wedding.
Well, I would have went to Pat Burns for tuxes, for Debs.
Yeah. But for school stuff, school shoes, school uniforms, we were Ted Murphy's.
Just when you say about buying shoes, something popped in there that there was a shoe shop. Now, I know Emmanuel Butler had a shoe shop.
He did.
On
where the hairdressers is now. Across from the library.
Across from the library? Oh, I was on the wrong place altogether.
Well, he didn't he have one on the Market Street?
I thought he had one on Market Street. Where, like, phone fixes now or something, that shop.
You're right. And I remember he had something on Market Street, but something changed in Market Street where they're doing roadworks. And he had to move his shop across to the library.
Oh.
And that was basically the end of it.
Now, that wasn't the main one I was going to say. I remember one on Tobin's side.
Mm. Yeah, he had one beside there. Yeah.
And I don't know if that was Butler, but I don't know. I must check with Mum whether this is a thing in my imagination. But I remember going in and it was like all shoes. And like they used to have the racks or the shelves going all the way up to the ceiling nearly. But I have no idea if I just made that up or not.
It could be just you're really short. It looked like it was all the way to the ceiling.
Well, that's true as well. But I don't know if I don't even know if there was a shoe shop on Tobin's side.
It rings a bell at me.
Yeah. And then you had...
I think next to Choice, where the sewing shop is now. I think that's where...
Yeah, that's... I'm not sure if that's true or not. Of course, there are plenty of shops that would have been in Trim that Mum would have told me about, but I don't remember. So that's why I'm trying to think of...
remember, but there was a chap called Jody Lynch. He had a shop on Market Street as well.
That's a sweet shop.
Lynch's... Not the Lynch's now on the...
But is someone actually mentioned that to me earlier on? Is that not where they're doing it up now for some outreach place?
I think that's where his shop was.
Yeah. So someone So I'll tell the story now because Kira told me earlier on that you used to get the quarters of sweets in there as well, but that he used to cone up a newspaper, put the quarter of sweets in the newspaper, and then do some kind of folding thing to keep the sweets in. So like some kind of origami.
Nice.
But speaking of shopkeepers, do you remember Larry Tobin?
Yes.
It's the one beside Super Larry. And he used to do the change thing. Did he ever do that with you?
Tell me.
Where like you put out your hand, so like Dad would send me in for the newspaper on a Sunday or whatever. Go in and you get the newspaper and a scratch card, obviously. And you put out your hand for the change and like you go to drop it, but then it was like a magic trick, but it wouldn't drop. Brilliant. And you'd be looking, and where is it? And then he'd go do it again, and he was able to like pull it out somewhere else.
Brilliant, genius.
Yeah, that was fun.
Have to go to Nikki with that, see if she can carry that tradition.
Yeah, it was cool. As a kid, that was kind of cool. And then you wanted to go back to go in and get newspaper.
You wanted to go there. So genius marketing.
And do you remember the old Super Value?
I do.
You worked in the more recent Super Value.
I worked in the middle Super Value because it was done up, and then I was there, and then I got done up again. Were
you working there when the door was, I'm going to say, Big Bites, Master Bites, pizza place? The door was that side.
Well, on the corner, the off-license door was there.
Yeah. But that used to be the main door as well, before the off-license. So it wasn't an off-license door, but it used to be the main door as well, because you used to only have the car park that was that side.
I wasn't working there when it was like that, no.
The only reason I remember that is when we grew the strawberries and we used to be going in, and you used to go in that door, and all the checkouts then were down to your right-hand side, and when you walked in there, the fruit and veg was the first thing you came to. That must be a standard shopping centre layout, though, that the fruit and veg is first.
Yeah, fruit and veg is always first.
Okay, so that's the way it used to be.
And I remember going there.
And with the trays of strawberries we used to sell. Thinking about growing the strawberries, I assume you have to be checked by is it Board B or hygiene things and all that now? Oh, you couldn't have a company like that now. We just pick them, put them in the pun and sit and cleaning them and all that. Yeah, but there wasn't a big production.
Probably the nicest strawberries you've ever had.
Yeah, no stainless steel. So we would have picked them on say, I don't know, a Thursday, and Friday morning, Mum would have brought them into Super Value. And I remember some of the good times was if you were off school and Dad brought you up to Smithfield to the market, which isn't there anymore either. And it used to amaze me, lads on forklift trucks, and they're pelting around the place, zooming in, zooming out, and you're just there in the middle, and it was mental. This was 5:30 in the morning. Yeah, I don't know. It was
there's another market, George's Market there. It's inside. It's to a four-cornered building.
Oh
I
yeah.
think I had to go there once or twice, alright, before.
No,
That's
I
on,
remember doing that.
On the other side.
And then when Donna and Gerling's was upstairs.
Yes, that was our hairdressers.
Yeah. So Mum used to always go there, and of course, as a kid, you used to have to sit and wait until Mum got done.
Yeah.
And I remember them first being really small, and then they broke in like to the next room, and then it was really long.
Yeah.
But
it was very interesting. It's almost like you're in a hotel when you're walking up those steps, going by apartments.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the hairdresser's open.
yeah,
You're just like you just open this door.
because it was above the Priory,
Yeah.
which isn't there anymore because Costa's there.
But
But Donna and Gerling's still there, it's just beside Costa now.
Yeah.
Which is probably better because they had like a little chairlift for the older people.
yeah.
But yeah,
They've
it used
gone
to be
more
like-
into like ladies haircutting now, but the brother still goes in.
Yeah, well, when I needed, so I stopped going when I was 30 because it got to the stage where you were paying a tenner and you didn't have a whole lot of hair left to cut. So when I was 30, I bought my own thing. So since then, I've been cutting my own hair.
You've never had a professional haircut in the past 5-6 years.
Because why?
But it's an experience these days. You should go to a Turkish barber's, like they light your hair on fire, you light your ear on fire, and they stick a piece of wax up your nose and then pull your hair out. It's an experience.
Well, I don't have the best beard game and I don't have that much hair anymore. So I think it's a waste of money for me.
You've no ear hair or nose hair yet. You're not that age now.
Not really. It's probably there, but it's not bothering me yet.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Time is ticking.
another couple of years. My knee already sounds like a dolphin. My left knee when I bend it because it clicks like.
I'm not there yet.
And my left elbow was doing one arm rows yesterday. It was starting clicking as well.
That's what happens when you do exercise. Exercise is bad for your health.
Exercise is bad.
And that's why I'm so healthy. I do zero exercise.
I suppose the last few things, because we're running out of time, we seem to work our way up through the town. Not sure. Well, remember Leonard's Hardware, where the malt house is now.
Yeah.
Remember going to stuff all over the shop.
Everywhere, but you always found what you wanted.
Yeah. And of course, Leonard's. The other Leonard's on Market Street, where the Nuke is now.
Yeah.
That was a less hardcore. That was more, what would you say, laid out kind of, and paints and
I never
stuff.
felt it in there. Whenever you went in, you kind of went.
But you go, and who was your man, the fella that used to work in the hardware beside the malt house, the older fella, and like you'd ask him for something, and he'd just disappear, and he'd be pulling it out, and you'd like, how did you find that?
Dust coming everywhere.
And things absolutely everywhere. And then I suppose the only last thing I remember is the bridge out behind Supermax. That was the main Navan Road. Cause I remember going over the bridge, and you get the belly thing going over the bridge going to Navan. Yeah. And they made the new road now. We had no Supermax, no drive-through.
Remember where the Bounty is, the bicycle shop, the bicycle repair place?
Where?
Right beside the Bounty.
Oh yeah, that was McLaughlin's, but that was
McLaughlin's.
MCLA. Was it Mixie McLaughlin? Maxie McLaughlin or something?
Can't remember. Well, I remember you used to go to get the bike done in there. No relation, no?
No, that was LA. MLO.
LA, what's that mean?
MCLA. UGHLAN.
McLaughlin.
Yeah, that's like Joe and Believer. He's LA as well. Well, I'm LO.
Very good.
Yeah, I think that might have been a bit before. I remember being there, but I don't ever remember being in it. But see, I suppose that was great. Most of these places I've been in is probably with parents, but that's everybody as well. And the old Dundee Road as well. I
Or the
remember that.
Back Bridge.
Yeah, the little bridge. I'm sure that's gone now.
When Oak Tree Business Park wasn't there.
Oak Tree Business Park wasn't there. That's right. Yeah, I suppose it has sprawled out a little bit.
There's a video on YouTube of someone doing a drive-through trim.
You
Did
put
you
that
watch
up a while ago, yeah.
It's well worth a watch.
Yeah, and it came down by the community school, and where that roundabout is now, that was the straight road.
It's country roads all the way. Like Knightsbrook isn't there. All the estates on the left aren't there. It's country roads all the way up to the Brothers' School.
But it's funny how it goes because it feels like Marcy's is way out of the town then, but it feels like Marcy's is now in the town.
Yeah, because Newtown was a whole separate town.
That's true, yeah. You're that bit further
Yeah,
out.
you had to walk to the other town, which was Marcy's and the graveyard. And
We have now reached our limit. We have waffled for the episode.
Wow. We could probably make this into a 2-hour podcast at this stage. Our waffling is...
Well, someday we might do what other podcasts do and have a paying subscription one when we get lots of followers.
Oh, yeah.
So you get 2 doses of a waffle
Once
hour.
we get to 23 followers,
Yeah, the pancake hour, the
subscriptions.
waffle hour. Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
So, as always, just to finish off, just remember that if you want to message us, you can on the JB Waffle Hour podcast on Instagram and jbwafflehour@gmail.com. This has been the JB Waffle Hour on Waffle Wednesdays. Thanks for listening. Sign off, John.
Thanks, guys. See you next week. Or hear you next week.